Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to assembled Vaishnava devotees. We thank you all for being here today. We are very much blessed again. Our speaker today is His Grace Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, who is one of us. Prabhuji, if you're ready, we'll put the verse on the screen and then you start speaking.
Yes, right now.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. But traditionally, let me just chant a little. Okay? Prabhupada has done it, but let me chant a little to purify myself. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha, Jai Girivaradari, Jai Girivaradari, Jai Yasodanandana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana, Jai Jasodanandana, Jai Brajajana Ranjana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana, Jai Yamuna Tiravana Chari, Jai Kunjabi Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva, Haribo, 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 Guru Haribo, Jaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Amala Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Amala Purana, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam, Amala Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Jai Amala Purana, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamantikaya Nasta Praise Yabhadre Suni Champaro Prasivaya Bhagavati Nasta Kivati Bhagavati Nasta Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. So today, please, you are welcome, and we are reading from SRIMAD Bhagavatam, second canto, 5th chapter, text number 6. It's on the board. Nayam Veda Param Hi Asmi, Na Param Na Samam Vibhu, Nama Rupa Gunai Bhavyam, Sadasat Kinshit Ayataha. Nayam Veda Param Hi Asmi, Na Param Na Samam Vibhu, Nama Rupa Gunai Bhavyam, Sadasat Kinshit Ayataha. Nayam Veda Param Hi Asmi, Na Param Na Samam Vibhu, Nama Rupa Gunai Bhavyam, Sadasat Kinshit Ayataha. Sadasat Kinshit Ayataha. So, word for word translation. Now, do not harm myself. Veda no, param superior. He for, as mean in this world, na neither, aparam inferior, na not, no, samam equal. Vibhu, oh great one, nama name, rupa characteristics, gunai by qualifications, bhavyam, all that is created, sat eternal, asat temporary, kinship, or anything like that, and yata from any other source. Translation and purpose by Divine Grace like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal or temporary, is not created from any source other than of your Lordship, thou so great. So, purport by Divine Grace like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The manifested world is full of varieties of created beings in 8,400,000 species of life. And some of them are superior and inferior to others. In human society, the human being is considered to be the superior living being. And among the human beings, there are also different varieties, good, bad, equal, etc. But Narada Muni took for granted that none of them has any source of generation besides his father, Brahmaji. Therefore, he wanted to know all about them from Lord Brahma. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanagyanasalakaya Chaksu Umanitayana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Savitayana Bhutalishna Vipakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Mukam Karutu Bachalam Amgum Langyate Grim Yat Kripata Hambande Sri Gurum Dinata. Vanchakapataru Vircha Kripasim Vyasa Vacha Patish Dana Bhavanabhu Vaishnava. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Sri Aditya Gadadhar Sri Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So first of all, we welcome all of you great sages who are here as devotees. Actually, you are very special and selected by the Paramparam to be part of today's discourse. And please, you are warmly welcome. Whatever sacrifice you have made, rest assured, the Lord is so potent. He's potent enough to benedict you more than anything else and anyone else. So just let us be grateful to him. And thank you once again. Okay. Today, our topic, for those who have been following, Sri Naradaji is trying to make some inquiries from his father. And he has made a lot of beautiful talks he has built a lot of beautiful backgrounds. You know, that is the principle. He has built a lot of beautiful background. And he's still building. He's still building. What he finally has to say, the point is building to a point. And as we follow, we are going to see that point. But first of all, we must say Narada Muni is conscious. And you cannot become Krishna conscious unless you are conscious. To become Krishna conscious, we must first become conscious. There's the first point. This point is going to be a takeaway point. Meditate on it, and you will see it expanding, you know, inside your mind and your heart and your intelligence. Unless we become conscious, we cannot become Krishna conscious. So Narada Muni is conscious. What are the symptoms of people that are conscious? People that are conscious, they are curious. They are curious about their immediate environment. They want to know what is happening. Like, for instance, if somebody is conscious among us here now, the person will be asking, what is this world? Since I was born, the heavens has been hanging and it has not fallen on us. And here I'm standing is the earth. And there's a big space in between me and the heavens. And it has not fallen. What is happening? How is it hanging there? How? And sometimes I see some living entities flying above, while me, I cannot even fly. The bird is so fast, flying. And me, I have to take plane before, you know, take ticket. The bird can just fly beyond the border and fly beyond the immigration border, fly into another country. So this is going on. Why is this so? Why am I so limited? Why am I being so limited? Why is it that some creatures are very small, like the ants, and you see that they are busy also, working very hard, moving up and down day and night, and it's as if they are also satisfied. You know, they procreate children, they protect their children, they find food for them, and to me, they are nothing. They are meaningless to me. But the way they are living is as if they are also satisfied with their way of life. What is it? Likewise, the cockroaches, the lizards, the goats, the cows, the snakes, they are all living their lives. And it's like they are very happy also. There are some beings that are higher than me, just as I'm physically bigger than these smaller living entities. Are there some beings bigger than me? And these beings, okay, if they are beings, I've been hearing of Gandharvas, Kiranas, King Purushas, the Siddhas, how do they look? How do they live their lives? What is the star that I'm seeing? The sun is coming every day, morning, I'm calculating time based on it. Why? What is happening? What are all these things? Where did they come from? Since I come into being, I've seen the sun. Up till now, I've seen the sun, I'm seeing the sun. And it's like, even when I leave, the sun will still be there. So this curiosity arouses. Why are good things happening to bad people? Why is it that there are inequalities in life? Somebody struggles very hard, they cannot even get a bicycle. But somebody is changing cars every day. Why? Why? Somebody is born into a rich family, somebody is into a very wretched family. They have to sleep on the street. Why? So this curiosity arises in someone who has become conscious. You cannot make the connections unless you are conscious. You cannot relate everything to a particular source unless you are conscious. So we cannot become Krishna conscious unless we become conscious. So this is the first point. Why is it that since I was born, my body has been changing and is growing old? My dark and lovely hair is getting replaced by white hair. I have to have a lot of chemicals in my cabinet to touch them. Once I'm over 40, Everything is like falling apart. What is happening? Time, what is time? You'll be asking these questions. Things that I've been doing before as a young man, I cannot do again. What is affecting my joints? Even my eyes, I try to put glass. Even with the glass, I cannot see clearly. What is happening? So this curiosity must arouse in the mind of somebody who is conscious. So anyone who is not making these inquiries is not yet become conscious. Here, Narada Muni is conscious and is asking series of questions. So this is just the first point. So to talk about this particular topic, there are a lot of things that will come into play. So in the overview, we are going to talk about, let me say we're going to classify this particular talk into 3 dimensions. What is Narada Muni trying to talk about? That means knowledge. We talk about what? That is knowledge. Then we talk about how. How is he talking about it? Why is he presenting it in this way? It is our process. That is skill, knowledge, skill. Then value. Why do we talk about this? Why is it necessary? Why is Narada Muni making these inquiries? What is the necessity of these inquiries by Narada Muni? Does it have any relevance to us? So we go about these things a little bit more diagnostically, and we get some revelations along the line. So having said that, we make some essential summary. After talking about the what, how, and why, we encapsulate some of the lessons into some capsules that we can easily swallow. Little capsule containing a lot, we just swallow it. So we make some capsules, then we make a little bit of internal summary. Internal summary means we try to tell you what we have told you. In this overview, what we are doing is that we are telling you what we are going to tell you. I'm telling you what I'm going to tell you. Then I will tell you. Then after telling you, I will tell you what I've told you. This is how we are going to go about it. That is the internal summary. Then eventually we conclude. Then we open up for questions and answers. This is how we are going to go about it. So first of all, having done the overview, the first question I want to ask is, what motivated Narada Muni to go into this, asking these questions? What motivated Narada Muni? Because this principle of asking questions in this way, we are going to see it in the house session when we get there. It is like a tradition, it's the Vedic tradition, that when you want to make inquiries, transcendental inquiries, there is a process. And we do look for some scriptural references, whether this is just the first time this kind of inquiry is taking place, or in the Bhagavatam, this inquiry is being taking place here and there. And we just pick about 3 major ones, and we just talk it for brevity, for the sake of time. We talk about a few of them. Then we move ahead to draw conclusion and see how relevant this particular topic is to us today. So what motivated Narada Muni to be asking this question? Like somebody will ask, what motivated Maharaj Parishit to ask those questions to Sukadeva Goswami, the questions he asked? And what motivated the Yamadutas to ask Yamaraj some series of questions like this? What motivated? So here, the first motivation is that since Narada Muni is a devotee, the devotee is never satisfied hearing about the glories of the Lord. And if you look at the inquiries from the beginning to now, you can see that Narada Muni is not a dull person. His intelligence is already stimulated. He has transcendental knowledge. Yet, he's still asking this question. One of the motivations is that he wants to hear more about the Lord. That means Narada Muni is in ecstasy. He's in ecstasy, wanting to hear more and more and more about the Lord. So he's asking his father, Father, you think I'm a small boy? I have a glimpse of what is going on. There's somebody superior to you. I want to know about that person. You have told me little things, trying to treat me as a child, telling me small things. But I want to know the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture? In which you are a smaller picture. That is where eventually it's going. Tell me more about that person. I want to hear more about it. That's where it's going. So the greater motivation is for him to hear more about the absolute truth, the ultimate person, or the ultimate truth. And it is the same motivation that Maharaj Parikshit has when he asked those questions, salient questions. Salient questions. What are the duties for one who is about to die? What are the duties for everyone in general, but especially for one who is about to die? He wanted to hear. He already knows the goal of life, knows about the Supreme, knows his operation, but he wanted to hear. So anyway, having spoken about the motivation a little bit, we're going to go into the 3 key points, or the trifocal, 3 focuses. 1, what? We're going to give flesh to it. What is Narada Muni doing here? What is he trying to do? Is it our process? What do we learn from it? So let's go a little bit into it now. The answer is that Narada Muni is conscious and he wants to become more Krishna conscious. And that is what Narada Muni is doing. How to become Krishna conscious? How to become Krishna conscious? The process is defined in our scriptures. Yes. How do we become Krishna conscious? Narada Muni is inquiring from his father, teacher, and guru, how to become more Krishna conscious. So, this is the process in the Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Tadvidi pranipatina pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnaninas tatva darsena. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the bona fide spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively. The self-realized soul will impart knowledge unto you. That is part of the how also. But this is what Narada is doing. Is inquiring from his father, who is also his spiritual master, and who is his teacher. So this is the principle. It's one of the major components of the principle of knowledge. The principle of knowledge is to inquire from the Lord, is to get knowledge from the Lord. And one of the major components is to approach a bona fide spiritual master who knows the Lord. Then he can now explain and reveal the Lord to you. We take you by hand and guide you and pass through all the metaphysical demons on the way. Without you seeing them, he's fighting them, cutting them off. Even just by seeing him, they are running away. Lust, greed, envy. You just stay by him and be going. And you see yourself on the other hand without even noticing demons. So this is the principle. And that immediately brings us to, or reminds me about a particular verse in the Bhagavatam. Or before them, we say, okay, to support this, we say, Tasman Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Sreya Uttama. This is the same point. Tasman Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Sreya Uttama. This is from the Mundaka Upanishad. That if you really want to know about your real identity and your relationship with God, make inquiries from a bona fide spiritual master. That is it. Tasman Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Sreya Uttama. It's a verse from, yes, it's a full verse from the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. In the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, verse 21. 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, verse 21. It's a very serious verse that every devotee should know, because this is a process we are following. We need to know how to do things. We need to know what we are doing. We need to know how to do things. So this verse is very, very important. Tasman Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Swaya Uttam. Sabde Parecha Nisnatam. Brahmani Pasamasraya. It's a very salient verse that every devotee should know. Bhagavatam 11:3-21. Bhagavatam 11:3-21. Tasman Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Sreya Uttamam. Sabde Parecha Nisnatam Brahmani Upasramasrayam. What is the translation? Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures and by deliberation, and is able to convince others about these conclusions. Such great personalities, who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual master. Okay? So this is our process. Lord Brahma is a bona fide spiritual master, and Narada Muni has taken him as a spiritual master, and is also his father. He's also the father of Narada. You see? The father must be in knowledge. So, and that later we are going to talk about how to acquire, to make these inquiries. We are still going to talk about the father, because there is a verse also in the Bhagavatam. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam that also talk about this point. That if somebody cannot become, if somebody should not become a spiritual master, a guru or a teacher, if he cannot deliver his dependence from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So it is the process. Guru nasasyat, swajano nasasyat. That is the verse. Guru nasasyat, swajano nasasyat. It's in SRIMAD Bhagavatam 5:5-18. SRIMAD Bhagavatam 5:5-18. You can display it for us also. This is a very salient verse. It is important because we are all trying to be fathers, and we are trying to be teachers, and some of us are becoming gurus even. So there is a responsibility, serious responsibility that follows. Yes, when you take these positions, you have a lot to do. Guru nasasya, swajano nasasya, Pita nasasya, janani nasasya, Daivan natatsya, napati shasasya, Namo shayedya, samupe tamrikyum. The translation. One who cannot deliver his dependence. One who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. So Brahma has become the father of Narada. We have also become fathers here and there. And see the type of questions that Narada is putting forward before his father. Very strong question. Questions that are very provoking. If you read through what Narada, which we are going to read for our own refreshment later, you can see that it's a very serious. Narada is in knowledge, and at the same time, he wants the father to tell him more. He wants the father to tell him something. The father has not told him everything about the Supreme Personality of God as the ultimate person, the number one person, and you want to know. So as fathers, we should be ready to answer these questions. And that is exactly why we should become students. We should take Guru, learn from him, know about these conclusions, so that when our children ask us these questions, we should not fail them. We should not be saying, later I will tell you, oh, you are a small child, later I will tell you. Tell him when he's asking you. So prepare yourself. So Narada is provoking his father like this. And he's doing it in a fashion that in the end, the father cannot say, I will not tell you. Why? Because he has already recognized the potency of the father, what he has been able to do, what he is doing, and therefore what he can still do. Therefore, how the father is, competent to educate him, enlighten him about the goal of life. If you cannot enlighten your dependents about the goal of life, don't become a father, a teacher, a guru, or a demigod. So this is the salient responsibility that follows this. So Narada Muni is showing this, is exhibiting this to us, revealing it to us. And this is one of the essential points we are going to take home in the end. Very, very important. If you have already become a father, you have this responsibility to answer all the questions from your children. You can see how they ask questions, children. They are innocent. And it will be an offense. It will be a violation of trust if you fail to answer the questions of your children. So this is the principle. And Narada is showing it, and the Bhagavatam, I just said it. The whole Bhagavatam, I just said it. The purest scripture, the essence of all scriptures, I've just said it. So what else can we say? We just have to try to qualify ourselves, starting from now. We have already taken initiation. Some of us are in contact with the movement. We should take proper shelter of the Guru so that we can gradually elevate our consciousness. So this is it. So having said this about what is Narada trying to do? What is Narada trying to do? We are going to now talk about how is Narada doing it. Narada is trying to inquire from his father about the higher truth, the ultimate truth. And it is the duty of the father to educate the children on this. So how is he doing it? Did he just walk to him and begin to say, Father, tell me about God? What is this? What is that? He lets the father know there is a process. In the Vedic culture, there is a tradition that we follow. And part of this tradition is that you have to congratulate your father for what he knows. You have to congratulate your teacher for what he already knows. You have to congratulate your guide, your guru, for what he already knows, what he has given you. So that for you to be able to get more from him, you have to first recognize what he has done, the potency he has, and therefore the trust you have in him to be able to give you something more. You have to tell him, you have to confess this to your guru. You have to confess it. Don't keep it inside your mind. Confess it to the guru. That Gurudev, I know I was rotting in the debris of material existence. I was a vikami. You were able to add spiritual regulation into my life. And gradually you have brought me to the point that you have initiated me and you gave me the association that I now developed. I've developed some faith. And this faith is becoming steady. Now I'm fully convinced that material life is a waste of time. Gurudev, can you tell me more about full self-control and how I can really achieve? This is the tradition. Yes. Therefore, by extension, when you are giving feedback in our tradition, you first mention two good things that somebody has done. Then you say, but you want to know more about this. Then you make one thing. If you want to make correction, tell some good things about what the person has done. Not that somebody has been doing pujari work every day and one day he failed, you just go and blast him to pieces. He has been cooking every day, one day he failed to cook, you go and chastise him as if that is the only thing he has done all his years. First, recognize that he has been cooking consistently for all these years, but And you thank him for that. But today you see that he's not there. So what is happening? Then he'll be happy to tell you everything. The tradition is that, Vedic tradition is that the approach of the student or the disciple must be submissive. The submissive oral reception. This is our process of receiving knowledge through submissive oral reception. Submissive. You inquire, but your inquiry should not be provocative in such a way that you want to awaken the anger of the person you are asking from, or you are challenging the person. That is not our process. The process is to go in a submissive mood, to inquire. That not that you are trying to find fault, but you just want to know more. Let that be reflected in your inquiry. So this is how Narada is doing it. Not only Narada, Maharaj Parikshit did the same thing. You recognize the position of, Sukadev Goswami, and you recognize the assembly of sages, how they have left everything to come and be there to listen to him, even though he's an ordinary king. They have all gathered uninvited. Then in Sukadev appear. I mean, the Supreme Lord is also part of this whole arrangement. Otherwise, how can Sukadev appear at this kind of time? And everybody accepted him, and he sat down and he was ready to speak, even though if somebody is not interested in material topics. He was ready to speak for 7 days continuously. You see? So, Sahadev Prabhu, our moderator, you should now go to Maharaj Parikshit. That is first canto, 19th chapter, verse 22 to 24. Let's go there. First canto, 19th chapter, verse 22 to 24. First canto, 19th chapter, verse 22 to 24. Okay, that's where you are now. All that was spoken by the great sages was very sweet to hear, full of meanings, and appropriately presented as perfectly true. So after hearing them, Maharaj Parikshit, desiring to hear of the activities of Lord Sri Krishna, desiring, is the motivation, was to hear more about the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Congratulated the great sages. Then the next verse. The king said, "O great sages, you have all very kindly assembled here, having come from all parts of the universe. You are all as good as supreme knowledge personified, who resides in the planet above the three worlds, Satyaloka. Consequently, you are naturally inclined to do good to others. But for this, you have no interest, either in this life or in the next." 24. O trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and especially of those who are just about to die. Well, what we are talking here is that we have taken the principle, the tradition of making inquiries. And this is how we are addressing. We finished addressing the what. What was Narada trying to do? How did he do it? So we are making scriptural references that just as Narada did it, the same way Maharaj Parikshit did, the same way the Yamadutas did, and there are many other, no, it should go back, go back. The same way the Yamadutas did, and the same way in many settings, the great sages did, but for brevity, we only limit ourselves to these three. So we are on this. Now go scroll to 32, test 32. From 32 to 40, we are going to see the whole display. So we have something to learn there. 32. 32, okay. The fortunate King Parikshit said, "O Brahmana, by your mercy only, you have sanctified us, making us like unto places of pilgrimage, all by your presence here as my guest." He's talking to Sukadeva Goswami now. First time he was talking to the sages who have gathered uninvited. By your mercy, we who have an unworthy royalty become eligible to serve the devotee. The devotees are the highest people in the whole universe. So look at the whole king. He say, you know, unworthy royalty. That is how he classifies himself. He said, simply by our remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified. And what to speak of serving you, or seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you a seat in our home. He recognized the importance of the saintly person, and he made the saintly person know that you are thus recognized. So we honor you, we appreciate you, we know your position. Okay? But we have some questions to ask. So the next verse, we are going up to 40. Go up, scroll up. Okay, just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives, just to please his great cousins and brothers. Otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here, though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death? You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. This is the point he wanted to make since. But before he makes the point, he has created beautiful background. And that is our tradition. We should never forget it. And if you apply this formula, your questions will be answered anywhere you go. Universal formula. Anywhere you go, if you follow this tradition, you will succeed in whatever you are doing. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me. He becomes eager to hear more because he has seen a qualified person who can dispel all his doubts, just as Narada had the trust in his father. Oh, powerful Brahmana, it is said that you hardly stay in the house of men long enough to milk a cow. Sri Sutta Goswami said, the king thus spoke and questioned the sage, using sweet language, underline, using sweet language. So when devotees meet and they are using this sweet language, it's not flattery. It is our tradition. But to protect oneself, immediately the sincere devotee say, no, Prabhu, I'm not anything. No, all glory. So he immediately try to transfer the glory you reign on him. And that is his humility. That is his pass mark. That glory actually belongs to God. And we will see it in the answers. When these people start to answer, you will see that all glory, they will point everything to God. By God's grace, they have the vision they have. And they are ready to confess that to the sincere inquirers. No, they will not absorb it. They will let them know that it is by God's grace. And by his grace, all impossible things are possible. I am here, sitting here, I'm not qualified, but I am here as a representative of God. So if anybody wants to become an instrument in the plan of God, he can sit here and he can repeat exactly what he has heard from the authorities. And that is transcendental. So that is the way you will see. They will start reciting what the Lord said about this, about that. They will not give any speculation. Then the great and powerful personality, the son of Vyasadeva, who knew the principles of religion, began to reply. He did not refuse him. So if you apply this formula, it will succeed. Just like when we go back to Narada, after he finished speaking, you will see that he succeeded. Brahma began to answer. Brahma, he gave Brahma to reflect his higher qualities of humility, and gratitude. Brahma he revealed his refined attitude. Once you are able to approach a saintly person like this, he will reveal his refined attitude. He will show his submissiveness to the Almighty, how he's nothing, how he's just a humble servant, but the Lord is everything, and will relate everything to you automatically. Having said this, now let us go back to, first, let's go to 6th canto, chapter 3, verse 1 to 9 and 1 to 10. 6, 3, 1 to 10. These are the. Here, the Yamadutas went to try to arrest sinful Ajamila. And they were baffled. Transcendental people that are superior to them appeared, and nobody needed to tell them that those people were superior. They saw the superiority of the Vishnudutas. And all along, Yamaraj has not told them anything about the existence of people like that. And they thought Yamaraj was the supreme personality of God. But when they experienced superior beings, they immediately ran back to Yamaraj and they questioned, they put everything before him, though still with respect. And the same principle they follow. Before they said what they were to say, they built a background. So let us see. 6:3:1. O King Parishit, O my Lord, O Sukade Goswami, Yamaraj is the controller of all living entities in terms of their religious and irreligious activities. But his order had been foiled. When his servant Yamadutas informed him of their defeat by the Vishnudutas, who had stopped them from arresting Ajamila, what did he reply? Oh, great sage, you have gone too far. Oh, great sage, never before has it happened, has it been heard anywhere that an order from Yamaraj has been baffled. Therefore, I think that people will have doubts about this, that no one but you can eradicate. Since that is my firm conviction, kindly explain the reasons for this event. Sri Sukade Goswami replied, my dear king, when the other carriers of Yamaraj were baffled and defeated by the other carriers of Vishnu, they approached their master, the controller of Samyamani Puri, and master of sinful persons, to tell him of this incident. The Yamaduta said, our dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the three modes of material nature? Sattva, Raju, and Tamas. If in this universe there are many rulers and justices who disagree about punishment and reward, their contradiction or their contradictory actions will neutralize each other, and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if their contradictory acts fail to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded. The Yamadutas continued. Since there are many different karmis or workers, there may be different judges or rulers to give them justice. But just as one central emperor controls different departments, the departmental rulers, there must be one supreme controller to guide all the judges. The supreme judge must be one, not many. It was our understanding that you are the supreme judge and that you have jurisdiction even over the demigods. Our impression was that you are the master of all living entities, the supreme authority who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings. But how? But now we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed by 4 wonderful and perfect persons, we were bringing the most sinful Ajamila towards the hellish planets, following your order. When those beautiful persons from Sidaloka forcibly cut the knots of the ropes with which we were arresting him. As soon as the simple Ajamila uttered the name Narayan, these 4 beautiful men immediately arrived and reassured him, saying, do not fear, do not fear. We wish to know about them from your lordship. If you think we are able to understand them, kindly describe who they are. So this is it. From this one, Yamara began to answer. Yamara answered them. He did not ignore them because they follow the tradition of making inquiries. And as their master, it is his duty to dispel their doubts, just as it is our duty to dispel the doubts of our children. You see? So the tradition is the same. Now let's go back to where we are coming from. Where we are coming from. Narada to Brahma. Where we are. Let's go back there. This is simply marvelous. Let's go back there. Let's go back there. Now, let's start from test 1 now. Let's start from test 1, Prabhu. So that we can refresh our memory. Sri Narada Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief among the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which, specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. My dear Father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conceived? And under whose control is all this being done? My dear Father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. The walnut is within the grip of the shell. That is how everything is within your grip. My dear Father, what is the source of your knowledge? Intelligent man. Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? As a spider very easily creates the network of its cobweb and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without any other help. Is that true? Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal, or temporary, is not created from any source other than that of your lordship. Thou so great. This is where we are. So it's the same tradition that is being followed. And if you follow this tradition, you will get what you need. So if you bring this to your day-to-day life, anywhere you are going, try to recognize the persons you are going to meet. And you let them know that you know what they know, you know their potency, but you want something from them. If you follow this process, this tradition, you will always succeed in whatever you are doing. This is the point I want to hammer. So, having said this much about demand, let's talk something about supply. So much about demand. What about supply? No, so by this, let's metamorphose into why. Why did Narada inquire from Brahma the way he did? Because this inquiry is a strong one. If you are not learned, you cannot answer these questions. If you are not a proper father, if you are not a father who is a devotee of the Lord, you cannot answer these questions. So all fathers, all teachers will become devotees of the Lord so that they can answer the questions of their dependents. Otherwise, they'll be defeated. And once they are defeated, their dependents will abandon them and start looking for somebody more qualified. You see? So this is the process. Why? Means value. Why? Why did Narada inquire from Brahma the way he did? Answer. Because that is our process. This is the process of the Vaishnavas. That's why Narada did inquire the way he did. It is the process. You know? If we, as Vaishnavas, if we really want to get valuable knowledge from our superiors, this is the process. And this process must be followed. Yes, this is the process. Why? It is defined, as we said in Bhagavad Gita 3:34. Just approach this bona fide spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and the self-realized soul will impart knowledge unto you because he has already seen the truth. And we say, yes, because Guru Nasasya, Swajanu Nasasya, that unless you can deliver your dependent from bondage, you should not become a Guru. So it is good that this approach is made so that everyone, before you take somebody as a Guru, you should see the position, you see whether it's properly connected to the Paramparam and is actually there to represent Krishna, then you measure by these qualities. Then, Dhamma tu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. This is one of the reasons also. Dhamma tu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. Why it is? Why? Because the Supreme Lord is the only one who enunciates the principle of religion, who knows the truth, is the source of the truth. So if you really want to know the truth, you need to approach the Supreme Lord. And you should approach him through somebody who knows him. Somebody you are sure, you trust that knows the Lord. And that is why we need spiritual masters in our system. So if you go to SRIMAD Bhagavatam 6:3-19, you will see this text. This is also an essential verse. 6:3-19. 6:3-19. I will just make few references, then we encapsulate and do internal summary, and we conclude. 6:3-19. Dhammam tu sakshat Bhagavan pranitam nate vidu risaya napi deva nasida mukhya asura manusya kuto nu vidyadara sharanandaya. Na vai vidu risayo na api deva na sida mukhya asura manusya. Not the devas, not the asuras, not the great sages, not the demons. Go to translation. Real religious principles are enunciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhamma tu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. Real religious principles are enunciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles. Nor can the demigods or the leaders of the Siddhalokas, to say nothing of the Asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas, and the Charanas. What to say of them? So, therefore, Narada approached his father because he knows that his father knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who directly enunciated the principles of religion. And Brahma did not disappoint him. He immediately started explaining about the position of the Supreme Lord, how he himself is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. He's only there to carry out his order. And all the creation he did, all the ingredients were supplied by the Supreme Lord. He only put them together. He himself meditated and got an empowerment from the Lord to be able to do what he did. So Brahma confessed all that to him. That is it. Then, this is beautiful because this is our tradition. Acharyaship and discipleship. This is our tradition. So to hammer this point home, We can go to 11, 10, 12. 11, 10, 12. We are quoting plenty verses because we want it to be authoritative. You know, whatever we are saying here is not a standalone. It's not sacrosanct. It has some connection. It has been done by people. People are still doing it. It is a tradition. And if you do it the way they did it, you will also get the same result or similar result. So look at 11, 10, 12. Actually, we are going to read 12 and 13. So raise it up. 12. The spiritual master can be compared to the lower candling stick, the disciple to the upper candling stick, and the instruction given by the guru to the third stick placed in between. When they are trying to set up a fire jagya, there is the lower Arani tree, there is the upper Arani tree, then there are some sticks that are set in between them, so that when they start catching, they catch with that. The transcendental knowledge communicated from guru to disciple is compared to fire arising from the contact of this, which burns the darkness of ignorance to ashes, bringing great happiness both to guru and the disciple. This is what happened. Burn ignorance to ashes. You see? So the spiritual master gives instructions, transcendental instructions, and the disciple takes these instructions to heart and practice them as his life and soul. Then all his ignorance will be destroyed. This is the process. So Narada Muni is asking, he wants Brahma to destroy whatever ignorance he feels that, whatever he has not known. He wants his father, his guru, to dispel it. But he himself, he knows that he just wants to help us for our sake. He's asking, he's acting it out like this so that we can learn from it. You see, that's why he did it. But from the questions, you can see that he's already in knowledge. He's not in ignorance. But he wants to help us because we are too shy to ask our questions. We think people will laugh at us if we ask foolish questions. I remember His Holiness Bhakti Vidya Puna Maharaj in Mayapur. He was in charge of the Gurukulas. So he's very learned. When he asks questions, when he's giving class, when he's giving class, you don't just ask any question, because the way we answer you, you will look foolish. In the end, you will answer the question in a way that you will look foolish for asking that kind of question. So for me, I don't used to ask questions. When I see how it smarts others who ask some foolish questions, any question you think that is very intelligent, it can make it appear foolish because he's learning than you, and he knows how to put the joints together that the question will look foolish. So instead, I used to keep quiet as if I understood everything. That's what I used to do. And in that way, I escaped being being smashed. It's because I was shy. I don't want to be smashed in the presence of everybody. They will laugh at me. And so I just absorb everything as if I understood everything. You see, that is it. That's how we used to do it. So Brahma did not disappoint Narada. And we have quoted so much. The verse 13 of it, I wanted to read it because it's part of the consequences, but let us leave it. The next verse to this Acharya verse, I wanted us to read the translation, but we can leave it because of time. So having said all this now, I want to say, let us extract some essential lessons first, and this will be coming in the form of eternal summary. All fathers must be able to answer the questions posed by their growing children. First lesson. It is relevant to us. As fathers, before we call ourselves fathers, we should be able to answer all the questions that our children will pose on. For that, even if it's becoming a pure devotee, we should try to become pure devotees so that we can answer the questions of our children. Because any answer that is less than pure, the child will not be satisfied. He will ask it again, he will ask it again, and if he's not satisfied, he start going out, asking other, he will lose trust in you. So for us to have trust in our, to motivate trust in our children, we should become devotees so that we can answer all their questions, because only in devotional service you can answer all questions. That's one. Then all growing children must ask questions of their father about things that arouse their curiosity. If they don't know something, they should inquire from their father. So if a child is not asking questions, then you should watch him very closely. Watch him very closely. Something is wrong. Because they are innocent and they are pure, clean-hearted, they have not done activities much, only the previous ones are there. And they are born, many of them, off in the womb of the mother. So they are very close to pure. So they can ask, they're supposed to ask questions. So this is the second lesson. If your child is not asking questions, you have to quickly shake it so that you can awaken his rational faculty, the faculty for discrimination. It should be awakened. Third, by the same token, we devotees in the making, those of us who know that we are not pure devotees here, we are in the making, we are sadhakas, we must ask our gurus questions. Yes, that we induce him to talk and reveal more and more to us. Devotees should ask their gurus questions. They should ask questions like Anandini Dhanam, and more questions like Rasa Vilas, and like Sahadev. Devotees should ask questions. If you are asking questions, it makes the guru to reveal more things. Because the guru sees your level of maturity, your level of inquiry, then he gives you more. He cannot just pour everything, even though he knows so much. Since you are not asking beyond a certain level, it will just be attending to you on your level. So we should learn how to ask questions. Then again, the Gunyam Akyati Prichati principle, as enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction. Dadati Pragrinati Gunyam Akyati Prichati Bhuntebo Jayate Chaiva Sadvidam Priti Lakshana. Gunyam Akyati Prichati, inquiring confidentially and revealing one's mind in confidence, or revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially. This is among the 6 ways of loving exchanges practiced among devotees. And it is to facilitate this practice that His Divine Grace that Prabhupada has established temples all over the world. All the temples in ISKCON temples are established in all corners of the world to facilitate these loving exchanges among devotees. Gunyam Akyati Prichati. That is why I instituted SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM class in the morning, Bhagavad Gita class in the evening. All the Sankirtan activities, a devotee becomes the advanced devotee, while the non-devotees become the non-advanced devotees. Then they ask questions, the non-devotees ask questions, then the devotees answer their question. This is loving exchanges, inquiries, deep inquiries, both philosophical and otherwise. Gunyam Akyati Prichati. Gunyam Akyati Prichati. Revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially. Otherwise, some people will just keep their inquiries until it overweighs their mental equilibrium. And you see them blooping. They leave and they start blaspheming the movement because they had something they needed to clarify, but they did not. Okay? So, okay. I know there are questions, so I'm rounding up now. So, yes, the Gunyam Akyati Prichati, we should take advantage of Vaishnava Sangha. Vaishnava Sangha is all about that. We come together, we make festivals, and in the festival, all the 6 loving exchanges are practiced, and like that. In that way, we get purified and we remain on track. Then, ISKCON and temple projects created by our founder Acharya, maintained by our Paramparam, Guru Paramparam, are all there to facilitate the Gunyam Akyati principle. So let all of us take advantage of it and see how we can boost, sharpen our spiritual intelligence and determination so that we be immunized against the onslaught of the three moods of nature. Then the intelligence is the rational faculty, and it is an essential need to stimulate and sharpen our intelligence with transcendental knowledge. And these are some capsules I was able to prepare. There are many more you can derive from this test. But for now, first of all, we talked about how you cannot become Krishna conscious if you are not first conscious. So in other words, first become conscious, then you can become Krishna conscious. Then we talked about, we gave an overview that it is going to be three-dimensional. This topic is classified into three sessions: what, how, and why. Knowledge, skills, and value. And we gave flesh to some of those points. We quoted many verses, ranging from Talvidi Pranipatina to Guru Nasashya. Then also, that is in attempting to talk about the what. Then talking about the how, we talk about how Narada did not just directly go and begin to ask the main question he wanted to ask. He built a background. And part of the background is that he recognized the potency of Lord Brahma, what he had been doing, what he's capable of doing. And therefore, he established that he is qualified to take him to the next level. And Brahma did not disappoint Narada. Actually, in the next session of this chapter, you will see how he explained and answered all his questions. And that this is very important. We have to recognize the potency of our Guru. We have to recognize what we have been doing. We have to show appreciation for what he has been doing for us, taking us from being Vikamis to now Sadakas. And then with the hope some become pure devotees very soon. Till they begin to do everything within, no external dependence. So like that, we have to do that. Then we now eventually bring out what we want to bring, the question we want to ask. Then the Guru will be happy to. And I said this was evident in the case of Maharaj Parishit. He did it. He recognized the sages who came, sacrificed everything to be there for him. He recognized the arrival of Sukadeva Goswami, and he put forward his questions after recognizing him as Bhagavat Sanghi Sangasya, association of Bhagavat Sanghi Sangasya. Then Sukadeva did not disappoint. He did not hold anything back. He started revealing everything. Then we say by the same token, even the Yamadutas, when they were frustrated by the Vishnudutas, they came to Yamaraj and they followed the same principle. That this is a principle that is a tradition, Vaishnava tradition, that if you follow it, you will always get the desired result. Having said that, then we moved on to why Narada made inquiries, source inquiries. And we were able to explain that there are so many, because it is our process, that is the first, this is our process of making inquiries. Then we made quotations, and we went back to talk about the Taj Vidi, Guru Nasashyat, Dhamatu Shakshat, how Krishna is the main person who enunciated the principles of religion. Therefore, he's the only person capable of saying everything about himself. And therefore, Narada, following the principle, Brahma, following the principle, immediately submitted to the Supreme and started to explain in a humble frame of mind that he is not the Supreme. Yamaraj did the same thing. He is not the Supreme. There is somebody superior. And he started to educate. Then we quoted the verse of Acharya Arani Adya Asyad, that yes, the Acharya, the spiritual master, is compared to the upper Arani stick. In the Jagya Kund, there's lower Arani street. It's because it's qualified as Adia. Adia means the original. Is the lower Arani tree. The disciple is the upper Arani tree. And the instructions given, communicated by the guru are the sticks in between. The upper and the lower. And when they are ignited, when the sincere disciple takes it up, it will catch fire and burn down all the ashes, all the woods of ignorance in the heart of the disciple, thereby making both the guru and the disciple very happy. So, bona fide contact between the guru and disciple brings the maximum result for both. Then we said that, and we gave some capsules, and here we are. Therefore, please, it is individual. If you can take some of these things home and put it into practice, you will also get the desired result. Thank you very much. And forgive me for overflogging and overgoing. Yes, forgive me, please. I stop here. There are some questions and commentaries. They are welcome.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much, His Grace, Chaitanya Prema Prabhu. And His Grace, Vijay Krishna, Prabhu, do you have a question? Please give me on mute.
Yes, Prabhu. Again, what is your name?
Sahadev.
Sahadev Prabhu, of course. Now I wrote it down. I will never forget it again. Sahadev Prabhu from Eastern Africa. Chaitanya Premadas Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Yes, Prabhu, please. My Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for your wonderful class. You during your class, you insisted on the question, why did Narada Muni approached, who was it? Shukadeva Goswami?
Brahma, Lord Brahma.
No, Lord Brahma, of course. Why did Narada Muni approach Lord Brahma with such questions? And I have an answer for that question. And based on such an answer of mine, I have a question to present to you. So my question to your answer, why did Narada Muni approach Lord Brahma with such questions, is that, well, he questioned Lord Brahma because he was in the body not of a mineral, not of a plant, a vegetable, and not of an animal. He was in a human body. You know better than me that only human beings can ask questions. And that is based on this, that is my question to your grace, Chaitanya Premadas Prabhu. Why is it that minerals, plants, and animals cannot ask philosophical/devotional questions to spiritual authorities like Lord Brahma, for example? That is my question.
My Lord, Vijay, all glories to you, Vijay Krishna.
All glories to you, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranams. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, Vijay Krishna was a minister of book distribution in ISKCON.
No, not this
Vijaya Krishna Das Prabhu. No, the Vijaya Prabhu book distributor in charge for the book distribution minister is now in San Diego, United States of America.
Wow.
And I take SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM lessons from him on Tuesdays.
Wow, great.
We have the same name, but we are not the same persons.
But you are both spiritual, so you are the same person in different bodies. So,
yes.
Okay, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for your beautiful. I know you know the answer, but you want other people to hear something from it. The fact is that on the elementary level, we said that the lower living entities, their consciousness is not evolved. They are not evolved in consciousness to that level of asking questions. And that is why they evolve. They evolve. There is no reincarnation on the platform of the lower living entities until you come to the human platform before misuse and use of intelligence or whatever is being calculated. They evolve like that until they come to the human platform. So the density of the type of body they acquire, depending on the density of their consciousness in their previous lives, and they are not evolved enough to human platform yet. And only on the human platform we can make these questions and get answers and begin. And that is why the human form of life is very, very special. And that there is equal amount of enjoyment, and the rational faculty is awakened. We can study scriptures, we can ask questions, and we can get guidance, and we'll be able to follow them. We attain the results. So that is the basic answer that I can give. But I know you have something to add to it. Please be merciful enough to add it. Hare Krishna.
No, I have nothing to add, because the answer you just gave to my question was very helpful. And if I may say it, as to be expected, very outstanding, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you very much. Dhanavad pranams.
Dhanavad pranams.
Yeah. So, these are the, if there are some more questions, please.
Go ahead.
There are a lot of things in the chat.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for today's class. Actually, I made a lot on Vaishnava tradition, which one way or the other we seem to ignore on my side. My question is, in your delivery, you said that one cannot be Krishna conscious unless one is conscious. In a layman's understanding, if we say a living entity is conscious, the layman may understand it that, which we all know, that there must be a soul. As soon as there's a soul, that living entity is conscious. And we say a dead man is dead when there are no souls. So how different is this consciousness that you just spoke about from a layman's understanding of a living entity having a soul? Okay. I don't know if my question is very clear.
Your question is right. There is consciousness, but consciousness is on different levels. There is from Anamaya to Vijnanamaya. So there are different levels of consciousness. The animals are conscious. The pig is conscious, but his consciousness doesn't go beyond eating liquid stew and drinking it and with closed eyes. The dog is conscious, but not beyond having sex and getting hooked. And the pigeon also. And like that, even some human beings who are human hogs, human pigs, human dogs, they have gotten human bodies, but the consciousness is very low. It doesn't go beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So such persons, they are not classified as conscious by the self-realized souls. So when we say you become conscious, the consciousness that is defined by the self-realized soul is the type of consciousness we are talking about. The consciousness whereby one begins to ask about his real identity. Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I in this world? Why are things happening? Why is the heaven so far? Why are we on earth? Why is it that all the fruits are available naturally? Who owns them? Where did they come from? Why is it that a whole tree is inside the seed? Who made the soil that when you put it in the soil, it becomes a tree and begin to produce fruits on its own and begin to, each fruit has the potential to become a tree? How did this come about? Who is in charge? Who is controlling? Once you are unable to ask these questions, yes, you are not considered conscious. You are conscious, but the consciousness is just anamaya. Where is food? Where is sex? Where is money? Where is sense gratification? That's all. That consciousness is not considered consciousness, or it is animal consciousness. So when we are saying consciousness here, we say those who are conscious, those who know that the human form of life is meant for perfecting one's life and going back home, back to Godhead. Those who know that the human form of life is an evolved machine. It's an evolved yantra. So when you utilize a yantra for the purpose it is made, then you can see that, yes, it is perfect. When the human form of life is used for pursuing the goal of life and elevating oneself to higher consciousness, then it is a perfect form. But when a higher machine is used for lower propensities, then you are judged and classified according to the consciousness with which you are using the machine. See? So those who are misusing the human machine, they are not considered conscious by the learned people. Those who are considered conscious are those who are able to ask these questions and who are seeking solutions to these questions, who are interested in their enlightened self-interest. Who am I? Why am I in this world? What is the goal of people who are their consciousness has started? Even among them, there are still different levels of consciousness. There are devotees who will be in the same room with you, but they are conscious of everything. The way somebody dances, the way a particular devotee dances or sings, they can merely say this person is highly evolved. He has attained some bhava, or is in a kind of rasa with the Lord. But other devotees might not see. They are out there chanting and dancing. But this devotee, whose consciousness is still more evolved, he sees, is more attentive. So one component of devotional service is to become more attentive, both of the environment, both the things we do on daily basis, even how we sleep, how we chant our rounds, how we listen to class, how we eat the food. When they say prasadam, everybody sits down among 10 people, 5, 6, or 7 are just talking different things. And even you play Prabhupada lecture, they ignore the lecture and they are talking while eating. While the other 2 are just attentive and without saying anything, they are honoring the prasad. The consciousness is different. So attentiveness, even within devotional association, can classify one devotee as more evolved than the others. There are people who impertinently commit the offense called Maryada Vyatikrama. I always talk of it. Maryada Vyatikrama is an offense in the Bhagavatam. To impertinently deride elders. There are people you eat with that are your elders, and they have not finished eating. You finish eating and you get up and you start going. Say, I have somewhere to go. So you get up and you start going, ignoring their presence. You're supposed to take permission. The conscious person take permission from them before he goes. But the unconscious person, the less conscious person doesn't take permission. He finishes eating and he goes up and he goes. The unconscious person wants to take gilam. He doesn't care whether he quack an elder. He can knock an elder in the course of trying to take gilam. And to him, the gilam is tall, and he takes the gilam and he's gone. He doesn't care. He didn't even know that he quacked somebody. But the conscious person, immediately the hand touches you or whatever, immediately if you come on his turn to you say, sorry, please, I'm sorry. He's more conscious. So this is the level we are talking about. So not that all human beings are not conscious. Everybody who is physically embodied has some consciousness, but the consciousness is in different degree. To the extent that even among devotees, consciousnness is varied. Until one becomes a pure devotee, the consciousness of the pure devotee is completely different from the consciousness of the devotee or the less pure devotees. So like this, the sooner we know this and consciously try to increase our attentiveness, the better for us. Attentiveness to chanting, attentiveness to Bhagavatam classes, attentiveness to every devotional thing we do. That will qualify and evolve us, propel us to the next level. This is how it is. individually. This is how it goes. Hare Krishna. So, Grace Kavikanapura, Prabhu, your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your wonderful lecture. You know, you have covered the whole time. That's all. You can. Nobody else will take your space. You are very good.
I stole the time. Forgive me.
So, Prabhu, I have a very nice question. I have one question to ask. This question is a big concern for me because there's this young devotee that somehow or the other we came in contact, and very serious devotee, very studious. He read every book that come out his way and about Prabhupada, and so very, you know, he was practicing very enthusiastically and this. So I want advice from senior devotee, what can be done. So suddenly, one day we were just trying to call this devotee, and he was not picking. Because it's not unusual to be like that. Normally, when you call him, if he did not pick, then he will call you back later. But this time around, he was not calling back. You see him online, you send him a message, you will not reply. And after two days of concern, then suddenly, when we call again, we send a message. So he replied. And he said, "Oh, Prabhu, sorry, I saw your call. I just want to be myself. That is why I was not answering. I'm going inward, you know." Oh, I said, "Oh, that is very good. And what do you mean by going inward?" You know, he started talking something that is meditating. He said, I started meditating on this topic recently, you know, about our relationship with Krishna, you know, the devotee, the ISKCON devotee, they talk about all the avatars. But actually, we're supposed to have some direct relationship with Krishna, isn't it? Radha Krishna, and once you get a guru, he give you your spiritual body, and you start serving Radha Krishna. Why are we wasting our time serving, reading and worshiping all the other form of Krishna? So I became disturbed. I said, "Wow, this guy has jammed into something he's not supposed to, enter into." So I was trying to encourage him, trying to preach to him that everything is stage by stage, step by step. Don't jump, I try my best, but somehow I saw that this guy has gone far. So Prabhuji, I want your, experience advice. How can we help this devotee? We know that, yes, in his mind now, he's thinking that I'm very advanced. I'm trying to connect with advanced topic, but we can see that somebody who have not been able to control his senses, but he's talking about all these things. So how can we, genuinely assist this devotee to come back to his, senses? So that is my concern. I want you to throw more light. And any other devotee, how we can approach this topic. We can give their suggestion. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. We already said it. You have a nice question, and that is a nice question indeed. So since it's already a nice question, what can we say about it again? You have judged the question yourself. So it's actually
it was a slip of tongue.
No. A devotee tongue doesn't sleep like that. It's inspired by the super soul. So, Prabhu, it's a nice question. You have judged it actually, and therefore it's a nice week. I confirm. It is nice because it's predicated on devotee care. Is predicated on devotee care. And this is an aspect of consciousness we need to think about. People do not care what you know until they know how much you care. People do not know how much you know until they know how much you care. So apart from preaching philosophy, we're supposed to show care for each other. If we don't hear a devotee come and see a devotee come, just as we are saying, you're supposed to find out which you have done. You have shown him care. Now, what we will continue to do is that at this point, don't preach to him. This is my own approach. We can get suggestions from different angles. We can put it together, then you see how to present it to him. My own approach will be that for now, don't preach to him, but show him care. Take prasadam to him, cultivate him. Take prasadam to him whenever you get some nice prasad. And when you give him the prasad, don't speak philosophy to him. Let him taking the prasad, but you offer the prasad very seriously before you take it there. It's prasad. You know how to do it. You are a pujari. You offer it very well to the Lordship and let the Lordship know that you are only making an endeavor. On your own, you cannot bring anybody back. It is actually the Lordship alone that preaches. Only him that makes devotees. We are only trying to be instruments in his plan. That if it is a part of his plan that you become a potent instrument, just as the Prabhupada prayed when he was going to the US. That if it is his plan that you become potent instruments, you are really feeling concerned for this devotee, let him awaken him from within as the super soul. He himself said that Tesam Satatam Yuktanam Bajatam Pratipuvatan Dadami Buddhi Yogandam Yinam Payantite. Tesam Eva Anukam Partam Aham Agyana Jamtamaha Nasayami Atma Bhavas to Gyana Dipena Paspata. Is the Lord himself who say, he's there, he's witnessing, he's seeing all that is going on. And he knows how to pull the trigger to turn this guy's attention back. He will allow things that will happen in his life that will draw his attention back. And he will do it at the right time. So meanwhile, just keep on cultivating him without preaching to him. Without preaching to him, unless he asks you questions, then on your own don't preach, but take him prasad, give him prasad, give him prasad, give him prasad, and from there, the Lord will take over as the super soul inside him and trigger and say, one day we just, let this guy be showing me this kind of care. Nobody else has, in fact, he lost me, that is why. Then the principle of friendship is a universal principle also, just like the law of karma, there is the law of friendship. The law of friendship is that when somebody perceives that you are a friend, he opens his heart to listen to whatever you say. But if somebody perceives you to be not a friend, and he closes that, no matter what you say, he will not allow you to enter. So this is the universal law of friendship. So make friends with these devotees. In fact, I remember His Holiness Kapishara Maharaj used to say, people come to the temple because we give them books, but they stay because we make friends with them. We make friends with them by taking their concerns as personal concerns and caring for them, asking them, how are you? How is your hands? You need anything? Maybe it's into some difficulty that nobody, came to assist him, and the disease has overweighted him, and Maya is also looking at him and said, this guy, let me test him to see. Then he tested him, and immediately he got carried allowed in a different direction. So just apply this formula and leave the rest for Krishna. At the right time, Krishna is time himself also. So he will know how to inspire him and bring him back on track. This is my suggestion. But others can give what they feel about this.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Krishna, thank you for the questions and thank you for speaking. His Grace Chaitanya Prema Prabhu. All of us can attest to the fact that, as we've been told, in the spiritual world, time does not exist. Time exists in this material world. And our speaker was in the mood of the spiritual world. So time became non-existent to him today.
Forgive me. Always forgive me.
It's all good. But Prabhuji, you said so many amazing things with lots of wonderful scriptural references, which all indicate that you're not speaking from your own mind. And even if you are speaking from your own mind, you also have the right to speak from your mind because you are devotee, which will not be contrary to the acharyas. But you said something which I want to make a quick comment, and if you have something to say on it, you may say that before I ask a question. And you said that just as Narada Muni was asking his father questions, but in a very humble, respectful manner. That should be the mood of devotees asking questions. And I can say that generally that is the case. It's very difficult and almost rare or impossible to find somebody asking a question for the first time and will not be submissive. Just as we do not start an essay with the word because. Because only comes after some things have been said. So if somebody asks a question and the answer given is a stupid answer, Vijay Krishna Prabhu the other time was showing perfect questions, perfect answers. If somebody asks a very sensible question and somebody gives a stupid answer, that may make the person who asked the question the first time to make a follow-up question. For example, if I ask a question about our real original position in terms with the relationship with Krishna, and you telling me that what Srila Prabhupada told me is false, is lies, that no ISKCON devotee can ever go to Goloka. It's a stupid answer, stupid statement. So there is no way you're going to expect me to come at you in a very submissive manner. That is what I have to say. If you want to say something about that, you may say, but my actual question is that we all know that one can force a horse to the riverside, but one cannot force the horse to drink the water. And so there was a very important verse that you quoted, and I'll put it up here on the screen to ask my question from that. That is Canto 5, chapter 5, verse 18. I like it because there were so many siat, which means to become. Sasyat, sasyat, all means sasyat. Now, this is Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is incarnation of Shri Krishna. So he knows best. Therefore, there must be a reason to why he is speaking this way. One who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of repeated birth and death should never, it's not even saying should not, it says should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. Now, Srila Prabhupada, we all know, he is the Param Guru. But can we say that all his disciples are going to go back to Godhead? I don't know, but I don't think so. And if that is not the case, do we say that Srila Prabhupada should not become a guru? Therefore, my question is, what does this particular statement imply or mean? That one who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master. When we know that devotional service is devotion, it's not forced. So the spiritual master cannot force us to do anything or everything. It depends on how we, the disciples, follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And if the disciple is not following and thereby not making progress, how can the spiritual master then be blamed? So I need your input on this particular statement.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Later, if we read the purport, then we get a little more clarification. But what I can say is that this statement implies that it is very clear. It is very clear, but it is just a pointer that the spiritual master has a big responsibility.
Excuse me, when you say it's very clear in what sense?
Clear in the sense that the statement one who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, a worshiper. Is it not clear? However, we will try to give some interpretations, provided it is not off devotional. In general principle, that is what is being said. First of all, my understanding is that the spiritual master should be heavy with knowledge. The spiritual master should be heavy with knowledge. And the guru should be heavy with knowledge. The teacher should be heavy with knowledge. And the father should be heavy with knowledge. Heavy with knowledge, should not become lazy in trying to guide his dependents. Even if they appear to be whimsical, he has to give extra care, make situational analysis, to go the extra mile to make sure that he does his part, trying to bring them on track. He should do his part without becoming angry on the way. So angry in the sense that you just abandon him because he has debated. He should go the extra mile to try to bring the person back on track. But if, however, despite all his best, the person still chooses to go the way he's going, what can he do? He has done his maximum best, but that best is not measured by human beings. It is Krishna who can measure the best that somebody can do. So with Krishna as the judge and as the measurer, he should have it in mind that Krishna is the one measuring him, that it is a responsibility he has promised to take on behalf of Krishna, and therefore it's Krishna that is marking him. Then he does his best and leave the rest. And the best, I think, if one is doing his best in trying to represent Krishna, surely Krishna reciprocates by making all the impossible things possible. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he was to try to make his father understand that the goal of life is to worship Vishnu. And he tried all his best without fear, happy with the truth. And finally, Krishna has to appear to fulfill the words of his devotees. So impossible things become possible by the grace of Krishna. So if we are doing our best, definitely Krishna will grant us his grace to make all similar impossible things possible. I can remember when Yoga Maya was deputed to transfer Balaram from the womb of the mother. Yoga Maya submitted to Krishna that, look, this task you are giving me is almost impossible because Lord Balaram is heavier than me in weight. It's heavier than me. I cannot perform any jugglery in his presence. He will see. So how is it going to be possible to transfer Balaram? How? This is an impossible task. Krishna said, by my grace, all impossible things will become possible. And by the grace of Krishna, it became possible. So the spiritual master's mindset, while trying to claim his devotees, his mindset should be that mindset that we attract the grace of Krishna. He's sincerely doing his best. He's not willing to give up. He's ready to represent, on behalf of Krishna, take any austerity to bring the disciple back on track. Then Krishna will cover the rest with his grace. And it will become possible. Whoever Krishna wants to claim, I don't think anyone can take him away. Maya cannot take him away. So if a devotee, someone who has dedicated his life to a guru, and the guru is sincerely representing Krishna, and the guru says he really wants to claim him, Krishna will cover the rest with his grace. And by his grace, all impossible things become possible. Yoga Maya was able to transfer Balaram So similarly in our lives, there are so many things that are seemingly impossible, but they are all possible by the grace of the Lord. And actually, as devotees, we are living by the grace of the Lord. Whatever we are doing appears to be inconceivable to the non-devotees. And some of us will see clearly that it is the grace of the Lord that is actually sustaining us. And generally, that is the principle. Whatever the Lord wants to do, nobody can stop. And whatever the Lord wants to undo, nobody can do. So let's act in a way, as spiritual masters, as representatives, as teachers, as fathers, as mothers, we should all try to do our best with the attitude, with the mindset that we invoke the grace of the Lord. And with the grace of the Lord, all impossible things become possible. Hare Krishna.
Well, Hare Krishna.
That's what I can say. Others have to read.
It's good you said that's what you can say. I appreciate your answer. It's not quite satisfactory to my question, but I accept your offer because it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't fully satisfy my question, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to our speaker, all glories to Prabhupada. Well, just some quick contribution to the last two questions. So your question about the Guru Nasisiyat and using Prabhupada as example. So we should not base the question just on this verse alone. We have to have a global look of what the scripture teaches about Guru and disciple relationship, right? So we also learn that the relationship between Guru and disciple, the Guru has to be potent and the wife and the disciple should be fertile, like a relationship between husband and wife. So if the Guru is potent, or if the husband is potent and the wife is not fertile, you can't blame the Guru, or you can't blame the husband, right? So the relationship between Guru and disciple is two ways. It's not one way. It's not one way. So this verse is explaining the importance of being responsible enough, for our dependents. But then in the other parts of the scripture, we also learn what the disciple need to do in order to be able to receive the grace. So two examples will be given quickly. One is the example in the Bible of the gardener who is throwing seeds in different areas. Some fell on the fertile ground, some on the thorny ground, some on the sideways, right? So that also explains that all the disciples, or all where you plant the seeds, are never going to be the same. Some areas, may not germinate. But then the gardener has done his part. Now, whatever happened to those seeds, it will continue. Like maybe birds come to take the seeds. The birds benefit. Maybe thorns come to strangle. The thorns also get some benefit for getting in contact with the bacterial tabesia. And so everyone gets some benefit, but the Guru has done his part, and the germinating factor depends on the fertility of the area where it is being planted. That's one example. And the second example is not just as an example, but it is the statement of the scripture that the Guru comes back to save the disciple as many times as possible. So the relationship, it cut across time and space. So the disciple may not make it this time, but the Guru find one way or the other to always come across him in every time, every birth he may take to help him to continue his progress. So a bona fide Guru, his duty, it does not rest at one attempt to save the soul. It continues, life after life. And we know this truth, because of the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bikramana Susti. Wherever he stops, it will continue from that. There's nothing lost. There's no loss. So if the disciple is not saved for one reason or the other, in his next life, he's going to continue where he stops. So anyway, that's my brief contribution on this question. And then the first question asked by Kavikana Prabhu, that's a very interesting scenario there. And I would give my advice that, well, Prabhu had already spoken a lot at how you can treat people like this. But that is taken into consideration that it's actually a neophyte and it needs to be tolerated and all that stuff. But don't ever forget that you don't know whom you're dealing with, his past life. So there are people who come and, you know, they're in a hurry. You know, they understood many things very fast and they want the next step, the next level. Now, we shouldn't say that our camp is only meant for those who are really downtrodden, who want to go snail steps. We should also know that we should have provision for those of those type. They're not many, you know. You don't come across those kind of people easily. So I think, like we have asked several times, that we should try to meet people at their level. Now that does not mean condescending only to people who are down. If you meet somebody who's at the high level there, please, you know, you should meet him at his level also, you know. So that is just what I want to say. I hope you understand where I'm going. Tell him what he needs to do to be able to access what is, you know, clamoring for. Tell him he has the right consciousness. Very good, very good. He's making advancement. Recognize, but don't think that, you know, he needs to make a snail kind of journey, you know, because different type of souls come around, and then when they come, we should be able to provide for their, you know, nourishment. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. I just want to ask more questions to what Prabhu just said. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the contribution contribution to what Prabhu said. Yes, Prabhu. And one other thing I was thinking is that yes, I saw actually what you said is true. He wants to make very fast advancement, but my own concern also is that there are so many contradictory behavior in his character. So can that be considered as very advanced also? Number one, whenever he has challenges, maybe breaking the principle, you know, then he come lamenting, oh, I've done this again, this, that, okay, oh, this, that. That is number one. Number two is that also, for him to practice also is not independent, means that he's staying somewhere where he has to eat whatever is available for him. You know, so he cannot strictly practice whether vegetarianism or whatever. So with all this consideration, so what do you think about it also regarding to his, and also he's criticizing ISKCON, that ISKCON is very low, the way the preaching is very low, that we should think very high. You know, we want to, you know, it should be Radha Krishna. So I'm just thinking that it's getting some influence somewhere. So I want you to talk more about this. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that addition. There's no doubt that it's been influenced somewhere else, no doubt. So if we want to see it outside, besides the influence, is breaking of the principle and regretting it should be considered as a very good sign. Because you have to be in knowledge to actually regret, you know, doing something that is unlawful. You have to be in knowledge. It's because it's in knowledge, you know, and it's honest also. It's also honest. Yeah. So, but I would say that over and above all, maybe it's not having enough association to actually provide for his nourishment. Maybe that's it. But all the things you're saying shows that is actually somebody of a very special soul. There's no doubt. Now, But eventually Krishna will direct him. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Krishna will direct him. But what you're saying show that he's actually special. I know. So somebody, a neophyte break principle, he won't even come and tell you. You know, he wants to cover it up. But he's showing that this guy is in knowledge and he's sincere, he's honest. It's a special soul. So it's not having enough nourishment through association, Sangha, and enough service, because it's not enough hearing and chanting, but you have to do service. So the purificatory agents are not enough for his situation. So we pray for him. Just keep praying for him, and please encourage him in whatever he's saying. Don't try to say, no, this is not good. No, please try to encourage him, because actually it will make more progress when he sees that you are being positive towards his different level of realization. Okay.
Yeah, actually, we are encouraging. We are doing our best in that regard. And one other thing is that all this thing came when he was saying that he wants to take in a guru. You know, he said, "Oh, I want now my next level is to take a guru." So then, all of a sudden, he just went into himself. So then he started coming with all this. That when he said that he wanted to take a guru, then he started thinking very deeply about it. Then these things came on and all this. So all those things came. So that is it.
Yeah, actually, sorry. That's what I wanted to say, but I cut it short. I wanted to say, link him up with somebody, with a guru, link him up with someone, even if they have to do his initiation through or by online or something. Give him, you know, hope that he can progress on the path. You know, when that anchoring becomes very intense and you're not getting a reciprocatory kind of, you know, feeding, then it can be very discouraging. So I was going to suggest that. And it's a good thing that you're saying, because I thought as much that he wanted a guru. That's why I said, direct him to the next level that he needs to, that he's aspiring for. Try to direct him towards that. So link him with a guru, let him, you know, and then from there on, let's see what happens. Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
But I'm thinking also that he's afraid. The guy is afraid. He's afraid because the principles, first, he has not been able to follow. He's afraid that it will be heavy on him when he takes a guru and continue to break the principles. So he should have a determination to stop breaking the principles and be ready to be serious. So if you have any preaching to do to him, encourage him to follow the regulative principles and chant and take prasad and do that one very sincerely. Then he can evolve to the next level somehow. But he's afraid of taking a guru, because if he takes guru, then it becomes more serious. If he breaks the principles, he's not ready to stop breaking the principles. So that is one factor there. What I can deduce. So.
Sahadev Prabhu, can I add very quickly?
Please go ahead. Yes.
Yes, very quick. But first, what is the time duration for the class of today? It goes as far as what time?
We usually do not go more than 2 hours.
Okay, so how much time do we have?
Well, you can ask or you can say whatever you have to say. Today seems to be special because we had a special speaker.
Okay, so now
to this round. So
this will be very quick.
Okay.
Because I do not know how much time do we have. So because of the contribution of Shriman Varaha Acharya Prabhu, and also because of what Chaitanya Premadas Prabhu just said, related to the relationship between guru and disciple is a two-way situation. The guru does his part, but it's not all up to him. It's also up to the disciple doing his part. And I have it here, a very famous book, I think all of you know, Brahmacharya in Krishna Consciousness by Bhakti Vikas Swami. Mm-hmm. And there's a chapter called Fall Down. And at the very end of this chapter, Fall Down, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj says that whenever a devotee falls down, he should be there picking himself up quickly and carry on. But we must know that fall downs, even mental, are damaging to our devotional service. If there is no attempt for rectification, we can expect Krishna to reciprocate such insincerity by withdrawing his mercy. Thus, the privilege of devotional service is lost. So, based on this, my brief comment is the following. If the devotee, the initiated devotee thinks that, oh, just because I became initiated, my spiritual problems are solved and I am going back to Godhead by hook or by crook, even without doing nothing, that is a mistaken idea in accordance with this quote. Fall downs may happen because we are fighting, the initiated devotees fighting against the material energy, which is very strong, and so the risk for fall downs to happen, even for an initiated devotee, are always there, although he's being protected by the guru. But depending on how rigid the disciple is in order to follow the orders of the guru, then the risk for falling down is there. And if it happens for the disciple to fall down, if he doesn't pick himself up very quickly in order to rectify himself, then the risk for him to lose the privilege of devotional service is guaranteed. So we need to be very careful about what we do in order to, what is it that we are doing, the initiated devotees, related to following the orders of our guru. If we stop following the instructions of our guru, initiating gurus, we are risking to fall down. And then, because we fall down, we are risking to not pick up ourselves up as quick as possible. And because of not as quick as possible, the material energy may do to us in the following way, may destroy ourselves in such a way that our impetus and enthusiasm for coming back to the protection of our guru may be lost, and then the privilege of devotional service will be lost. Of course, for this, maybe for this lifetime, anything we do in spiritual life is never lost, but at least the advancement in order for us to become purified enough in order to go back home, back to Godhead, in accordance with this quote of Bhaktivedanta Swami, becomes lost. We must know that devotional service is a privilege. It is not a taken thing like oh, I became initiated, now I don't need to do nothing. No, it is the exact opposite. We need to follow very rigidly the theoretical and practical instructions of our gurus, and if we don't do it, we are risking to lose the privilege of maintaining ourselves connected with the mercy of the disciplic succession. And who knows when, if we become disconnected, who knows when, because we know that anything that we do in devotional service is never lost. But who knows when, as soon as we become disconnected, who knows when it will happen for us to become connected again, because of how strong the material energy is. So initiated devotees should be careful about how to deal with their relationships with the guru. To have a guru is not some kind of fashion of superficial circumstance. It is the most important commitment that a human being can do with related to the best use of the human form of life. If we become negligent, again, the privilege of devotional service will be lost. and we don't know for how many lifetimes. So it's not a joke. It is a serious stuff, and we should be cautious. We should be responsible enough in order to maintain the relationship and make advancement, because that is the purpose for initiation to happen, for us to make advancement, not to us for become stagnant or even worse, fall down, risking to become disconnected in such a way that who knows how many lifetimes it will take for us to become connected again. So that is my contribution. Thank you.
So good. That's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, very beautiful contribution. And that's how it should be. It's two ways. And like the verse I quoted, 11, 10, 12, that the spiritual master can be compared to the lower candling stick, the disciple to the upper candling stick, and the instructions given by the guru to the third stick placed in between, that the transcendental knowledge communicated by guru to disciple is compared to the fire arising from the contact of these two, which burns the darkness of ignorance to ashes, bringing us. So the disciple must be sincere, and the spiritual master should be bona fide. Then that bona fide contact will do the miracle. So it's a two-way thing. So it's understood. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. So on this note, I mean, we truly and honestly thank and appreciate each and everyone for your presence, your love, your contribution in terms of speaking, in terms of hearing, and exuding your love on this platform every day, every day, every day, every day. We can't thank you enough. So on this note, today is Friday. It's the end of the week. We humbly and prayerfully go to their lordships, the Parampara, to help protect and guide us throughout the weekend, bring us back in a very wonderful, healthy way next week, so we may continue here in SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. So on this note, we're going to ask the devotees in a very humble way to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker and all assembled Vaishnava devotees. Jai. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Mantra Kalpataru Vyascha,
Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya Prema Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.